looking out for the upper class. Transformation in we mass. You don't care if the poor ones are to eat grass. Transformation in we mass. Turn me enemy. I just say yes, I love the progressive sciences hotel making la suggest. But then I remember John Thomas was the one who led the protest. But now we robbing up the same white boys like a bed bug in the night. But just remember the local workers and make sure that you treat them right. Don't leave them balling with them mouth closed. Oh God, baby, Jesus is up the blood. Say when you're poor is when you expose. My people balling with them mouth closed. Get it? Oh God, baby, Jesus is up the blues. Grenadians balling with them mouth closed. Be careful with the tons when you're picking rows. Why the hell you remove the cap from the gas? Transformation in we mass. Now what in me tanky can't even last. Transformation in we mass. But you driving wrong in dark tinted glass. Transformation in we mass. When I start to talk you say in a fast. Transformation in we mass. Hey. Cause old talk is cheap. I still talking politics. Politics. I would never take me death like a sheep. Was up in Granville, Senator came right up to me as like he afraid to talk. He said the little work that he get in Cultural Foundation, they take it back. And how we wish he could have take back he vote. Cause that is one thing he regret. Because apart from all those gallant feds, yes, he they do nothing yet. Transformation in we mass. If you love this song, well, raise up your glass. Transformation in we mass. If you don't like this one, is there you come last. Transformation in we mass. There we go. them please open up some doors. Why the hell food prices gone up so fast? Transformation in we mass. The people balling anyway you pass. Transformation in we mass. You only looking out for the upper class. Transformation in we mass. You don't care if the poor ones are to eat grass. Transformation in we mass. Hey. Never stop, tell me howdy. All because of politics. Politics. Friend and family turn me enemy. I just say yes, I love the progressive sciences hotel making last suggest. But then I remember John Thomas was the one who led the protest. But now we robbing up the same white boys like a bed bug in the night. But just remember the local workers and make sure that you treat them right. Don't leave them balling with them out close. Oh God, baby, Jesus is up the blows. Grenadians balling with them out close. They say when you're poor is when you expose. My people balling with them out close. Get it? Oh God, baby, Jesus is up the blows. Grenadians balling. Careful with the tons when you're picking rows. Why the hell you remove the cap from the gas? Transformation in we mass. Now what in me tanky can't even last. Transformation in we mass. But you driving wrong in dark tinted glass. Transformation in we mass. When I start to talk you say in a fast. Transformation in we mass. Hey. Cause old talk is cheap. I still talking politics. Politics. I would never take me dead like a sheep. Was up in Grenada, Senator came right up to me ass like he afraid to talk. He said the little work that he get in culture foundation, they take it back. And how we wish he could have take back he vote. Cause that is one thing he regret. Because apart from all those gallant feds, yes, he they do nothing yet. Grenadians balling with them out close. Oh God, baby, Jesus is up the blows. You support us balling. me tell this banger wrong. I mistake him to put young song. I'm in trouble long. I know what is going on. I want him to explain to the people how we got his driver's license. I'm in trouble long. I know what is going on. You take them people and try to be love but stand. Then you walking wrong like you with some big badge, and when puzzle pull the barricade, you fly up in a rage. That's why baby Jesus, he got you ignorant. When scholar running up him out and keep me chillin' and penalize his same set all. You not be jumping and clapping for you. Some people bad minded and headless for the lie. I got it don't do anything to me so wrong and right. So right now I really don't give a damn what critics say. I come with God blessing, I don't paying anything. So nobody cannot tell me what the hell to sing. Hey. When keep me selling passport, all you want to strangle him like a goat. I'm in trouble long, I know what is going on. No passport selling more than ramen shop. I don't hear nobody talking about that. I'm in trouble long, I know what is going on. Bullets flying like buds, but I don't hear in a word from the commissioner, neither the prime minister. Everybody mouth and lock. No one is afraid to talk. Right now I go say it glance all you hit pocket mouth and boy. Ah, hell call a girl CBI money boy, but I hear most of it outside there. I like about to say he's in Dubai. You see right now, out and bad, out and bad, out and bad. This year, out and bad, out and bad, out and bad, out and bad. I get in an out and bad.
To a fun-filled Easter egg hunt on Saturday, March 28, 2026 at Aubrey's Supermarket, Westerhall Point Gap, starting time 12 noon. Kids will love the exciting egg hunt, games, musical chairs, face painting, and sweet treats. Plus, the chance to find golden eggs with cash prizes inside. The egg hunt is just 10 euros, so bring the entire family out for an afternoon of kids fun, laughter, and Easter excitement. For more information, call 473-406-1322 or 473-449-0369. It's the Easter egg hunt on Saturday, March 20th, 2026 at Aubrey's Supermarket, Westerhall Point Gap, 12 noon.
For more information, contact We Noise TV at 929-445-4463, or you can email us at wenoisetv@gmail.com. We Noise TV, the leading streaming provider. Anytime, anywhere, any screen. Access to your favorite HD contents with prices as low as ever. Choose from monthly, quarterly, or yearly payments. This worldwide service is flexible for you to keep up with all your favorite programs, shows, movies, and local programming from home no matter where you travel to. Worldwide TV channels right at your fingertips wherever you are. Latest in live sports, binge watch all your favorite TV shows, movies on demand, videos on demand you can pause, rewind, fast forward anytime. Never miss one level of entertainment important to you. No contracts, no added prices for sports or premium packages. We certainly don't have to pull tricks like cable and satellite companies. Our product speaks for itself and beyond. Noise TV. We have everything like Netflix, Disney, Amazon. Watch your favorite movies, TV shows, and series with our services. With our service, you'll get rid of all other subscriptions. For more information, contact We Noise TV at 929-445-4463, or you can email us at wenoisetv@gmail.com.
Are you ready to take your brand to the next level? Look no further than the Chameleon Design Studios, the creative powerhouse behind Key Central and dozens of standout brands across Grenada and beyond. Web designs, animations, and motion graphics to custom video productions. We bring your visions to life with unmatched efficiency and professionalism. Need a logo? Our design starts at just $1,500, and our starter pack includes brochures, call cards, and letterheads. Whether you're launching a web business by vamping your identity or telling a story visual, Chameleon Design Studios is the reference of designs. Call us now, 1473-122-8601. Scan the QR code. Follow us on Instagram at Chameleon_473. Let's communicate. Call us today.
And good night to you, Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit Martinique, the rest of the Eastern Caribbean, wherever you are locally, regionally, internationally. Saying a special good night to our listeners in whichever island you are. Those of you in St. Lucia, St. Vincent, Dominica, St. Kitts, Anguilla. Hey, I have some good listeners over there in Anguilla. Good night to you, and hope that you all are having a wonderful night. My good friends up there in the Turks and Caicos Islands. Yeah, I hope you're having a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful night as well, yeah? And of course, our listeners out there in North America, those of you in Canada, Oshawa, and those of you in Ottawa, we say good night to all of you. Yeah, Alberta, good night to you, Matthew, and indeed the lovely, wait now, I'm forgetting, is Matthew and, how I could dare forget Matthew, I will get licks, boy. I go blank for a minute there, you know. Yeah, I still can't remember, you know. Can't me go call and correct me just now. Nice? Yes, but good night to all of you listening out there in Canada. Those of you listening down there in Trinidad and Tobago, my family members down there, I say a special good night to you all. Hold on, we know it go, yeah. I say a special good night to you all down there. Those of you listening across the pond out there in the UK, the Giza, we know that you're up and you're listening. Irvin, we know you're now over here. So nice again, some nice warm weather and thing. Nice. Good night to you, my brother. Hope that you're having a wonderful night. Pedro, good night to you, bro. Yeah, so we're saying a special good night to all of the listeners who are on with us. Leroy, oh my goodness, Leroy, I totally forgot. Leroy, I totally forgot. I'll get in contact with you. All right, yeah, so saying a special good night. Let me make a note of that here, man. Yeah, because Leroy, I totally forgot. Yeah, nice. Yes, so good night to each and every one of you, and hope that you're having a wonderful night tonight. But you know, we got to go over, yeah, before we get into everything else, and we've got a lot to get into tonight. So make sure that you call your friends, you call your family, get them close to the device, because we've got a lot that we've got to discuss tonight. Yeah, so yeah, let me get into the thing now.
And if you last strong, don't stop the progress. Take a good look around. The house solid, and if you last.
So remember, it's happening tomorrow. Village Talk with Mr. D.
Moving on.
The new National Party St. John constituency branch.
Last strong, don't stop the progress.
They're having that walk through and meet and greet out there in Florida, St. John at the Bottom Junction. So that's going to be taking place tomorrow. You can look out for Team NNP, led by the Honorable Alvin Dabrio, yeah? The real man for St. John, yeah?
Don't stop the progress. Don't stop
A man of the soil.
Don't stop it. Don't stop it.
Alvin, is it Martin? Yes, Alvin Martin Dabrio, yeah.
Don't stop it. Don't stop it. Don't stop it.
Alvin is such a genuine, nice person, huh?
Don't stop the progress. Don't stop the
Goes out of the way to help people.
progress.
So that will be taking place tomorrow. That's a Thursday, the 19th of March. Look on out for that one, yeah. And then remember, Absolute Basketball in collaboration with Mr. Christopher Diali presents Road to Glory. Over $8,500 in cash and prizes to be won. 3-on-3 basketball, yeah, that's going to be happening on March the 22nd and 21st and 22nd, so that's Saturday and Sunday.
Don't stop the progress. Don't stop it. Don't stop it. Don't stop it.
Yeah, somebody tell me a song in kind of far. You know why? Let me see if I could fix that. I should fix that a little bit, yeah?
Don't stop it. Don't stop it.
Yeah, Yeah, so once again, Absolute Basketball in collaboration with Mr. Christopher Diali. They're having that 3x3, 3-on-3 competition. That's going to be taking place on the Grenada's hard court. Starting at 6:30. It's going to be taking place both of Saturday and Sunday. If you want to get involved, folks, yeah, you have your team, you have your crew together and you want to go and clean up that competition. You find you see your sneakers you want to get there. Or you want to pay a little bills around the house and thing and you say, well, yeah, let you go and get that money on the court. Over $8,500 to be won in prizes.
Stop it.
You could contact Mr. Gary Chance at 421-0128 or 449-0128. So that's Absolute Basketball in collaboration with Mr. Christopher Diali Jr. The Road to Glory this Saturday and Sunday at the Grand Ansad Court starting at 6:30 p.m. Yeah, nice.
Don't stop it.
NNP Youth Arm invites you to their church service, A Generation That Remembers, taking place this Sunday from 10 a.m. at Agape Ministries in River Road. We ask that you come and worship with us as the NNP Youth Arm.
Don't stop the progress. Don't stop the progress. Don't stop the progress. Don't stop it. Don't stop it.
But that's going to be starting at 10 a.m. Agape Ministries at River Road.
Don't stop it. Don't stop it. Don't stop it. Don't stop it.
And Easter Sunday, the place to be is the Tempe Playing Field.
Don't stop the progress.
As the new National Party St. George Northeast Constituency Branch,
Don't stop it.
Mr. Nimrod Oliver and his team, they're inviting you to a family fun day. They're going to be having various activities for the children, as well as many activities for the parents as well. Food and drinks will be on sale. It's going to be a wonderful one. Yeah, you see another genuine nice man. Yeah, when you meet Nimrod Oliver, he's always a nice, calm person. Nice, yeah.
Don't stop the progress. Don't stop it.
You know, I don't think I've ever seen him flustered. He's always been so calm, you know.
Stop it.
I think it's the years of being a police officer and having to deal with people at different emotional ranges, yeah?
Don't stop it.
It's always so very calm, yeah?
Stop the progress. Don't stop the progress. Don't stop the progress. Don't stop it. Don't stop it. Don't stop it. Don't stop it.
And before I forget, there's one more. Yes, indeed.
Don't stop it.
Don't forget the new National Party New York chapter. Save the date, July 11th. Evening of Elegance formal event, yeah?
We move
We're
it.
gonna get some more information on that one coming up soon, yeah?
That's strong. Don't stop it.
Good night to you, Isidore. Yeah.
Solid. And the pillar strong. Don't stop the progress. We moving on. The house solid. And the pillar strong. Don't stop the progress. Take a good look around.
Yes, indeed, folks, and quite an interesting day today. Quite a bit of I ain't taking calls yet. Yeah, quite a bit of information coming out. Hey, let me deal with the first one first. No, what you think I would deal with first? We go deal with that one a little further down. You know, people say that yeah, me funny. Let me see if I could fix that here. So, yeah, I'll go fix it afterwards. Yeah, yeah. So the first one I want to deal with tonight is a situation with some nurses. Yeah, we have some nurses who are not being paid at all. Not that they're getting peace and they're getting the rest, no, they're not being paid at all. And we're talking about 30 people here. Yeah? Some of them asked me to talk about it, so I'm talking about it. It have about 30 of them. These are individuals that were brought into the system late last year. So since about October, they have been in the system and have not received a cent since then. The only cent they gain is when they pass in the hospital and they smell something out of that. Is cent they gain. But they ain't getting another cent outside of that. Yeah? I mean, how you expect these people to keep on? How you expect them to survive? How you expect them to be able to come to work on a daily basis? When since October, so you're talking October, November, December, January, February, we know in March, So 6 months, these people have not seen a salary. Come on, man. No wonder you had to get rid of Kim as the PS in that particular ministry of health. Yes, the ministry of health. No wonder you had to get rid of Andy Mota. How could you have over 30 people working as nurses and not receiving their money since October, and not a word to them saying, hey, we're working on this and you're going to get your money? Not a word to them of comfort. Well, they didn't even need word of comfort. What they need right now is their money. That's what they want. They want no words of comfort. They want no promises. What they want right now is their money. And that's what they deserve. 6 months? Come on, man. Listen, I remember back in a very long time ago, 1996 or so, when I was thinking of going into the teaching profession. I just left MCC, was thinking of going into the teaching profession. And you know, one of the things that kept me from going in the teaching profession back then was the fact that you were hearing, hey, you just have to wait 3 months before you get a salary. Now imagine as a young person living on your own, and you have to wait 3 months to get your salary. So how you're paying bus, how you're paying for your rent, your food, everything. Right? It was the New National Party that came in and mainly dealt with that sort of situation where people had to wait a whole 3 months before you see a salary. But now you have people waiting 6 months. And you know what makes it even worse? Is that they're about to take in another set of the same kind of people, nurses and so again, Grenadians, into the system next month. So they're not paying the 20-something 30 that they have from since last year. They have not gotten a single cent since October. But now you're looking to take in another set. We need them in the system. But whatever bottleneck is in place, whatever obstacle is in place of these people receiving their money, kindly remove it. If the obstacle was the PS, well, okay, she gone now. So we hope that they are getting their money. If she was the obstacle, she's gone now. So we hope that they get their money. Something definitely had to be wrong. How could you have these people 6 months? They can't receive their money. And then next month, on top of those that already can't receive their money, you're going and take some more. And remember, they already, according to their own words, have about 30 Ghanaians here. So they bring people from other countries and they have them here. Meanwhile, the people from here, what they're doing? They're encouraging the people to go. That's what you're doing, you know. Because these are your own Grenadians that you have here. 6 months and they can't get the money. But you're talking about bringing people from other countries when a simple logistical anomaly like that, because I'll say that is a logistical anomaly. I ain't gonna say all you broke, all we know is broke, all you broke. Statistical anomaly like that. Logistical, not statistical. That you all could sort out. But we know you all incompetent, but I mean, come on, man. Come on. Have a heart, man. According to Dr. Mitchell. Have a heart. Pay the people. Yeah? My goodness, man. You just really had to wonder what's going on with these people and them, you know. You really just had to wonder sometimes.
Transformation in reverse gear, the whole country.
And then even to make things worse, you know, I was listening to some stuff today. You know, let me play it. I was listening to some stuff. Yeah, we're going into playing thing one time. Let me play some of the stuff that I was listening to today. Because I think this has been out there a couple weeks now. And I don't think anybody has really listened to it or followed it up in the way you could tell when Linda Straker ain't do a story for a while, because nobody else like does have anything to talk about. All right, but let's hear this.
Now, TB is one of those instances where we have been able to maintain good control over this disease over the years. So generally, maybe between 1 or 2 or 3 cases per year. Now, I'll just give you a few statistics. In 2020, we recorded 1 case, and one death. That case died.
Okay.
All right. 2021, we had 2 cases. 2022, 1 case. 2023 was an unusual year when we detected 5 cases. All right. 5 cases. 2 of those cases died. 2024, we had another 2. 2025, 4. But unusually in 2026, we already have 2 cases in the first. We haven't gone past the first quarter of the year.
Right.
So it is a cause for concern.
I agree.
It's a cause for concern because TB is a serious disease, and this year we've had one death.
One death.
From TB. All right, and that's the thing. TB is one of the leading causes of death,
Worldwide.
infectious causes of death worldwide.
So that is the chief medical officer is saying to us that he's very concerned about the situation with tuberculosis, TB or tuberculosis, in our country at this point in time. That we've had 2 cases identified for the year thus far. Sometimes, remember he said 2023. Wonder wasn't commented 2020. Anyway, 2023 was a serious year in that they had 5 cases with 2 people dying. So far for the year, you've had 2 cases of tuberculosis with 1 person dying. In other words, you have a 50% mortality rate for the year 2026 already in relation to tuberculosis. Yeah? But there's some other things that was said there. And folks, tuberculosis is from the people that coughing in your face on the bus and in different places, and so the droplets, yes, that's how you're getting it. Remember like how you get COVID with people coughing on you and thing? Right, it's the same way you're getting TB and things. So might have to start back wearing masks according to where you're going on. When you're going around people that cough, and people are you're coughing, and so put your safeguard people now, man. I mean, safeguard people. Yeah, don't do the thing in a kind of way, you understand? You don't even know if it's TB you have, but still, safeguard people around you. Yeah? I want you all to hear another part of this, because this part is particularly vexing to people like me, especially. It's particularly vexing. So let's hear Dr. Sean Charles again. Let's hear.
I mean, this is a huge, I should say that this is a huge concern for us right now. Now, in 2023, we noticed something different happened, all right? 2023, we detected 5 cases. But these cases were particularly concerning in that they were individuals generally between the ages of, 30s, early 30s, 31, up to 60 plus, all right? But the majority were individuals under 50, all right? But we noticed a different trend. Now, normally, when someone is diagnosed with TB disease, we had the practice of they would be admitted to hospital for a very short time, maybe a week or 2, where they are started on treatment, just to monitor and ensure that they're tolerating the treatment okay. And then they are released back into the community to continue the treatment, because an individual who is on treatment and is compliant, that individual is not really able to transmit the
So the risk then is lower?
The risk is extremely low.
Okay, good.
All right? So those individuals would ordinarily continue their treatment in the community, and we've had no issues in the past. The clients that we've had, they were all compliant, and we had no issues. However, the cohort of cases that were received in 2023 were particularly challenging in that they would not comply with treatment when they're released from isolation, all right, and they would hide away from health authorities so that you make it very difficult to find them. So we had to resort to keeping them for an extended period of time in the isolation facility. At the isolation facility, their behavior was very disruptive, even violent amongst themselves and to staff. So it made treating them quite challenging. They also very resistant to accepting and actually taking the treatment. All right, because these are tablets. The treatment consists of tablets that they must consume.
Okay.
And they were very resistant to doing that as well. All right. So we tried to keep them as long as possible, then follow the usual procedure and follow them up in community with the difficulties that I mentioned before. We've had instances where they have escaped from the facility. All right, we've had to involve law enforcement to get them and bring them back. So it was
Quite a challenge.
a very challenging group. So what was the result of this? They would be admitted, they would be kept, we keep them as long as possible, they'll be very disruptive, then they're let out, they escape,
And don't follow up.
they don't follow up, they don't take any treatment. They will be readmitted in respiratory distress as a result of the progression of their disease. We would treat them. As soon as they get back on their feet, they would resume that same pattern of disruptive behavior, all right? Then they would go out. Then they will get readmitted again in respiratory distress. So this is a cycle that has been occurring and that we have been, we've been faced with.
Now, folks, you heard what he's saying there. We have a situation that there are people who contracted tuberculosis. They were released early from the facility. The intention was for them to go home and continue taking their medication. These individuals refuse to continue taking the medication, which means that they become, the load of the disease builds up again to the point where they can spread it to others once again. So they could be sitting down on the bus next to you and kufum, and spreading disease to you or your children or somebody else in your household who could then become infected and bring it home to you as well. Yeah? They send police, they had to send police to try and find these individuals. Yeah? And even when they try to keep them in isolation, the people running away from the isolation and going out there where they have possibly infected more people. And if you think COVID bad, tuberculosis, remember for much years you've been hearing about tuberculosis from ever since, probably since the days of the Egyptians or the Bible. It had tuberculosis around. Yeah? And it is here in Grenada already. For the first quarter of the year, you have a 50% mortality rate in relation to it. Yeah, 2 people contracted it and 1 died already. You had 2023 where 5 people contracted it and 2 people died. So this is not something to be joking around with. And this is something, quite frankly, that we should have been hearing much more from the Ministry of Health in relation to. And again, I don't blame the promotions officer there, Mr. Kevin Frederick. I've seen Kevin work under the last NDC. I've seen him work under the NNP. I see him come back and work under the NDC. So I know he knows what to do. So the problem has to be higher than him. It has to be that the people above him are incompetent. And we know who happens to be the minister with responsibility there, who is supposed to give the policy directives to the ministry to deal with issues like this. How can you have individuals out there who blatantly, for the period of time that they should be taking their medication so that they cannot pass on a deadly disease to others, who are blatantly refusing to take their medication, doing all sorts of nonsense like going and hide, and then coming out and lying with people, knowing full well that they can infect those other people with tuberculosis, knowing full well they could infect them people, children, or the elderly people whose body may not be able to fight off the infection. And these people are going, and you ain't doing nothing in relation to it in a serious way. I don't blame Dr. Sean Charles. I don't blame him. It comes from the top. Because there's certain legislation that the Minister of Health can use to have those people detained and to make sure for the period of time they're detained that they receive the treatment that they ought to receive in the interest of public health. The Constitution makes it clear, you know, that you have your rights, but your right to freedom, that you have under the Constitution of Grenada can be removed from you in the interest of public health. So if you have identified these people as troublesome, you have identified these people as people that given problems and don't want to take the medication, utilize the legislation or enforce necessary legislation to make sure that you could deal with these people. Because right now, all they have me to a stage that when I traveling on a bus and I hear a person cough too much, now I'm frightened. Yeah, I'm back to that again. I was there during COVID, right now I'm back to there again. How could you have a situation like that and you no wonder you had to get rid of the permanent secretary that was there? Yeah, that's probably why you had to get rid of that permanent secretary. Maybe that's something to do with it. Listen to this part.
Even more dangerous consequences. All right? And these individuals they have their buddies, they're all there liming. Most of them are young men, middle, you know, young to middle-aged men. All right? They're probably in the rum shops sitting and drinking with their friends, and putting everyone in danger.
And even traveling on public transportation.
All of that. All of that. All right? Now, most recently, this sort of behavior, we were particularly concerned for one aspect in particular, and that is development of drug resistance. Now, the thing is, if, as with most infectious diseases, if they are inadequately treated, all right, over time, you know, the organism that you're treating can become resistant. All right, so we were always concerned for the development of resistance against, you know, these organisms, and you know, this week this has been confirmed. All right, in one of these individuals who we've had to repeatedly treat and escape and all of that. For the first time in our knowledge, we now have cases of a case of drug-resistant tuberculosis here in Grenada in one of these individuals.
Okay.
All right.
So, folks, you all understand now that one of these individuals, you can no longer medicate this person because it will do nothing, because their TB has now morphed into a drug-resistant strain that they can still spread to other people, the drug-resistant strain of tuberculosis. And that has been confirmed. Who knows if they've infected anybody else, because that is one of the people that keep running away and escaping and all sorts of things. So what are you going to do with the person now? Lead them out there to just go ahead and spread the thing, isolate them? What are we going to do in relation to that? Because this interview took place probably about 3-4 weeks ago. This interview took place. I missed it. I honestly missed this one. Because this is a serious public health concern. This is a serious issue. This is a life and death issue. Yeah? Because you all hearing the mortality rate in relation to this thing. You all are hearing it. So you all realize just how dangerous this is. And we have to ask ourselves, what is being done in a situation like that to protect us? You mean we had to go and put on masks for the rest of our life? No, everybody had to go and wear masks again? No, people don't want to go back to that. Nobody wants to go back to that. And folks, I think the software has just disconnected itself. So you may have seen the stream freeze for a minute there. I don't know why it's behaving that way tonight. Behave yourselves. Yeah. But what is being done to protect us, the Grenadian people, in a situation like that? That's what we want to hear, you know. Not just that is the problem, but what is being done to protect us in a situation like that? Because I just be on the bus, me and my son. Yeah, and he just be hearing people kufum, 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 kufum. Sometimes you sit down on the bus and they cough so hard, you're feeling the breeze behind your head. Alright? You feeling your ears feel kind of moist, kufum, kufum, kuf, right behind your head. They ain't even blocking them out. Come on, man. Where's the leadership? These are the people that say they're going on. The same people that ain't treating with this issues, the same and ain't paying the nurses, are the same people that go in and turn sod and say they're going and build a much $100 million facility, you know. But to protect you in the here and now, they're not taking the measures. And again, from the Constitution to various pieces of legislation, and I could dig and find the legislation if you don't know where it is. It allows the Minister of Health to make certain orders so that people who just ain't listening and out there dropping their droplets and coughing over people and all sorts of things, that these people can be detained in a particular facility and that they can go through the course of treatment and then put out. Because if they go through the full, and this is the stupidity of the entire thing, if they go through the full course of treatment, you know we do have an issue. Because if they go through the full course of treatment, then it will TB, tuberculosis, will no longer be live in their system. So it wouldn't affect them. Their lungs wouldn't be collapsing and filling up a fluid and all sorts of things, and they coughing up blood and all of this. Yeah, that wouldn't be happening to them again, and they wouldn't be able to pass it on to other people. I mean, my goodness, man. You tell me it's so incompetent. An issue like that you don't know how to deal with? Why did these people receive an increase in salary and all kind of thing? Why did they receive increased benefits to do a worse job than any other government that has been in office before? I mean, I thought that the last NDC of 2008 to 2013 was the worst government ever. But this government giving them serious challenge for the first place. I mean, yes, the Tillman Thomas administration was an embarrassment to common sense. But this one is an embarrassment to existence. How can they not deal with an important issue like this quickly? There's not an issue that you play around with. There's not an issue that you say, oh, people only talking and people only saying things. This is an issue that every Grenadian should be concerned about, and every Grenadian should be calling on the Minister of Health to take action. So we've heard now, the individual now has basically untreatable, through medication, untreatable tuberculosis. What has the ministry done? You just leave him out there? So he on a construction site with other men right now? He working in an office with other people? He going into the ministerial complex in the air condition inside there. He going inside there to conduct business where you have literally hundreds of people working. He traveling on a bus from one part of Grenada to the other. Kufum, kufum, kufum. Come on, man. There are things that you can do, that you should do to protect the Grenadian people at a point in time like this. Absolute nonsense. That is why we have to fire that government. We have the best country on earth. Nobody could tell any Grenadian or any visitor to this island that there's a better country than this one. But we have the most incompetent in the universe, not just the world, in the universe. In case it have other life out there, right, in case it have it out there, we still have the worst government in the history of governance. Incompetence to the hilt. Only trying to dazzle you and bamboozle you with all sorts of nonsense. Meanwhile, important issues are left unattended. You all don't find this madness? My goodness, man. No. There's another issue I was going to raise before before I go to the other issue there, but I will leave that one alone for tonight. I'll deal with that one on Friday night along with other things, yeah? Tomorrow night we're going to talk some health some more. We'll call some we'll call some people. We'll talk on health some more tomorrow night. Nice? Mr. Handsome, no worry. We'll talk about more health tomorrow night so you'll get to know what's going on and so, yeah? Martin! So folks, this morning I got a message from a good friend of mine to take a look at this article, only to realize that the article that I saw, I'm going to open the phone lines in a while, let me just get past this part. The article that I saw said that Grenada has been added to a list of countries that will be required to have a visa bond, yeah? And the visa bond is well, I was about to say simply it, but it's nothing simple about it. It means, in the most basic sense, that Grenadians, as of the 2nd of April, who are applying for a US visa, a B1, B2 visa, that those Grenadians may be required to pay a bond of up to $15,000 before, and 15,000 US, not EC they're talking there. $90 they're talking there. That is US dollars. Us dollars. Although us don't have it, them have it. But US dollars, which basically means that any low or medium income, middle income individual in Grenada need not waste the time to bother go and try and get a visa again. And here's the worst part. If your visa is about to expire, you fall into the bracket too, because to reapply for your visa, you may be required to pay up to that amount as well. And it's rated there. You can pay, they might ask you to pay 5,000 US, they might ask you to pay 10,000, they might ask you to pay 15,000 US. So imagine a family that usually go and get the visa together, and so now you have to go and get a visa and they tell you, okay, you're approved, but before we issue the visa to you, you have to pay the bond. So it basically says to Grenadians, don't bother to come and try and get a visa. That's what the Americans saying without saying it directly. They are now saying to Grenadians, watch now, don't waste your time. Don't bother to come and get your visa. Now, let me be clear here. To those of you that already have a US visa, a valid US visa, for now, and I know why I'm saying for now because I know what coming next after this one. We did warn you. Again, I don't know. It's not, listen, we have the gift of foresight, not goat mouth. Yeah? So we have the gift of foresight. We knew what was going to take place. We wished it did not, but we knew what was going to take place because we read the tea leaves. Yeah? So we saw what was going to happen, which is why we told you quite a few weeks ago that this would happen to Grenada. After it happened to Dominica, and it was Dominica and Antigua, we warned you that they were first, but it come in this direction. Because you see, remember the morning that they went and they pick up Maduro. Rubio said, some people been playing games with the US administration, but President Trump don't play games. And they would get to know that in time to come. And we seeing what happened in time to come. So when they ask you about putting a radar in your country, and instead of telling them yes or no, you take them for a fool and you decide that, hey, me ain't signing them, me ain't telling them nothing, me ain't bothering with them. These are the outcomes for your country. There will be punitive actions against your country. And while it may not affect you as Prime Minister because you have your diplomatic passport and so on, and you have your diplomatic visa, so you don't have any problem. You could jump a plane and go in the United States in the morning if you decide you want to do that. For the Grenadian, who is at the lower middle income, who has a medical condition that they were planning after getting people to put up money and so on and do the motorcade and do all the thing because you ain't do the national health insurance. After all of that, when they were planning now to go and get their visa and go to the US to deal with that particular medical issue, they can't go again. Because now on top of that, they would have to find a 5,000 or 10,000 or a 15,000 US to pay. I mean, come on. You can't play games with the people. They asked you, first of all, it is because the US government sees that Grenada has a weak government, an incompetent government, is why things are being requested of Grenada that not being requested of other countries. All the requests being made of Grenada, you ever hear St. Vincent say all the same requests were made of them? You might hear one, but you hear all the requests made of them? You hear all those requests being made of other countries in the region. Why is Grenada? Fish ban is Grenada. Visa bond is Grenada. Everything is being placed on Grenada. Request for the radar, Grenada. Request to place the deportees, Grenada. It is because they see the present Grenadian administration as weak. They wouldn't try that. It was Dr. the Right Honorable Keith Mitchell. He'd know to go and he'd reach in Washington already, talk to one or two people and come back smiling and say, hey, don't worry that man, that's sorted. That could not be an NNP administration if Dr. Mitchell didn't feel to go. He had Nicholas Steele. He had people like Oliver Joseph. He had people like the Honorable Emmeline Pierre. The Honorable Dr. Clarice Modest. Remember, she was the Foreign Affairs Minister at a point in time. Good night to you, the lioness. The lioness herself. So these people could have gone with enough oomph to be able to negotiate on our behalf. But who we have right now? Man who does come back and tell us thing is signed when it's signed already. Man who disappear from St. Patrick for the whole period of time and now remember that he have a constituency, so he trying to run like a headless chicken all around the constituency now. Yes, you Andal. Trying to run like a headless chicken all over the constituency now. All these last few years, you forget it had a constituency. But election coming now and you need the vote of the constituency to continue the travels. So now you find yourself in the constituency running around like a headless chicken. And Grenada, remember, these are the people. They say there are consequences. These are the people. When the Minister of Finance went on a public television program, television, radio, and online program and said to the US government, take the visa if you want it. You all didn't realize that when he do something like that, it would affect us, not just he. So they take a visa. Which other Caribbean island you hear the US cancel the visa of any politician? Well, it had one in St. Lucia, but that wasn't recent. That's a few years now. You hear the same situation with the same Minister of Foreign Affairs. We stand by Cuba, and if they want, basically they could take the visa if they want to take the visa. When they were speaking, they were not understanding that their words were not for them alone, but their words were on behalf of the Grenadian people, and as such, the Grenadian people are being made to pay the price for their stupidity. Yes, stupidity. That is where all of this is coming from. Because how come you're not hearing other countries calling on that? You ain't in Guyana calling. You ain't in Trinidad. You ain't in St. Vincent. There are certain countries that you're just not here calling. If it's simply in relation to immigration issues, which country have more people outside of Jamaica? Probably are the most in the US illegally. Jamaica probably are the most, or battling with Haiti for the most. But after them, you're speaking about Trinidad and Guyana. How come their name not there, but our name there? You know why? Because at least they have people within Foreign Affairs that know how to negotiate and know how to talk and know not to take the other side for fools. Because the same way that this government is they're taking us for fools here in Grenada. It's the same way they take the US government for fools. So they string them along and string them along and string them along. And the US say, okay, all you're playing the fool. Okay, Tobago is right between two all you. They talk to Trinidad, they put the radar there. This week, they take the radar and they're gone. And the same way they take the radar and they go this week, in the same week, they slap Grenada with the visa bond. And they can't say it's not true, because it's up on the website already, everything. Yeah, it's up on the US website, or I'll pull it up just now for you all. It's up on the US website. It's up on them news website. Everything, and it's the city kind of countries. Oh God. The city kind of countries Grenada getting class with in these kind of thing. You all know that these things would never have happened under a new National Party administration. We had too many competent people within a new National Party administration to have allowed something as nonsensical as this to happen to us. Yeah? But also you have to remember, you saw the other night, I showed you all, and I will show it sometime tonight again, the video of people from Nigeria who suddenly turned Grenadian. So whole families with passport that appear in Barbados, they ain't reach Grenada, but they reach in Barbados and going to the US embassy to get US visa. They never touch foot in Grenada. They have Grenadian passport and they reach in Barbados to go and get US visa in large numbers. Nigerians, Ghanaians, some of the people at the US really and truly they really want them, but they come in as Grenadians now. Of course they're being refused, but the US put in measures in place just in case somebody slipped through. And do not be surprised if you realize that soon we end up, Lord, and it's not goat mouth. Somebody say goat mouth. No, it's not. Yes, goat as in greatest of all time. Yes, but not goat as in bang. Not that kind of goat. Nah. It's bang or man. One of them. I don't eat it, so I don't know. Right. But it is a situation where we can see what is on the horizon and coming our direction due to the actions or inaction of our government. We can see that. And they can't say that this thing, they didn't get information on it, so it's not true. And so because this is Associated Press. Yeah? Oh, you move from the Associated Press. No. Yeah. So you see one of the countries that they've mentioned here. As of April 2nd. Yes, you'll be refunded the money, but who have 5,000 US to go and get a US visa? It's only the upper middle class might have it, but definitely the upper class will have it. But the lower income earners in Grenada, they don't have that. They might be able to save up the money and get a little something from the credit union and go to get the visa and so. But no, they make no sense now. Yeah, this is Reuters. So they can't say, yeah, the story's out there. So they can't say that they're just hearing this thing from all kind of fly-by-night thing. No, it is there on Reuters as well, where they're speaking to the 12 countries that have been added to the list today and so on. Yeah, and again, Grenada, right? One of the countries added to the list. But not just that. It is actually on the US government page. Countries subject to visa bans. And they're going down here. Algeria, Angola, Antigua, Barbuda, Bangladesh, Benin, Bhutan, Botswana, Burundi, Cape Verde, Cambodia. Here are the kind of countries we deal with. Central Africa. Some of them is failed state. Central African Republic, Ivory Coast. Yeah, don't expect me to say it in French. Cuba, Djibouti, Dominica, the other Caribbean country along with Antigua in this, and now Grenada. Yeah, and that's on the US government website. So Grenada, as of the 2nd of April, so if you have your appointment for later than the 2nd of April, God be with you. Yeah? And further on the other, yeah, they have it here too. You understand? You could go here and you could find it here. The same thing basically that I was showing there. Nice, you could find it there. And that kind of thing. So it is not a situation that there's a hearsay and we don't know. They could hide as much as they want behind Intercall for the next day and not answer to the Grenadian people about this particular issue. And then they will try to do it on Friday when they know people jumping up in relation to Intercall and thing, and the weekend people ain't bothered that, and then into next week. By which time people might move on to another issue. Well, others may move on. I ain't moving on. It is their incompetence that has us here now. Call it for what it is. It is their incompetence that has placed this at the feet of us, Grenadians. Because they like to take people for fool. So they feel now they could have taken the US for fools, and the US watch them. They say, okay, every time they check on what is the status of the radar thing, oh, we're still looking at the technical specs and we have to remember this and that. The US watch them say, oh, so are they operating? Okay. And more to come. Because remember now, there are particular Caribbean islands now that their 10-year visas have been cancelled. Everybody who have a 10-year visa, it's been cancelled. And it's been brought down to a 3-month visa. And they are only issuing, I think that's Antigua, they're only issuing 3-month visas for Antigua. So if you get a US visa, after you spend all that money, whereas before you would have it for 10 years, now you only have that visa for 3 months. Do not be surprised. Again, and this is not wishing bad on your country, because some people who are at such a low drain intellectual level that they cannot understand when people are speaking about things that they don't understand. And they try to bring it down to the banal. They try to bring it down to the drain level. So the only thing is only wishing bad for the country. It's not wishing bad for the country. It's telling people what is going to happen. And letting people know so they can put things in place to protect themselves. The same way, just last week we saying gas price gonna go up. The same way we've been telling people that. Folks, let's open the phone lines. 147, let me hear you all on this one. 147-344-07377. My good friend in Carriacou, I have not forgotten you all. I will deal with that issue on Friday night, yeah? I have all my information, everything in relation to that together. So I'm going to deal with that issue on Friday. I know why I want to do it on Friday too. So Friday I'm going to deal with that particular issue in Carriacou. And I'll mention this part to you all, folks. In Carriacou right now, for 3 weeks, they have not been able to register anybody. At least people who independently go in and people who may be associated with the NNP can register. I don't know if NDC people registering, but NNP people can't register. They say that's all internet problem. They can't register. The same place they're trying to Amanda Jack the process. For 3 weeks, people can't register there. And I'm calling on you all in Carriacou and Petit Martinique. Check that list with a fine-tooth comb. There are people from Union Island who may appear on that list. There are people from Myro and Bakeway that might appear on that list. Check that list with a fine-tooth comb. Go through it one by one by one. Put a face to every name on that list. Because they accused NNP of it the last time while them were the ones doing it. We have a caller on the line. Hello, good night. Hello, good night. Caller, pay attention to the phone line. Hello?
Mr. Sheldon.
Yeah, pay attention to the phone line, not the background. Go right ahead.
Yeah. Okay, let me move from by the state. Let me ask you a question. Where they building the hospital, Calavini or Hopeville? One saying Calavini, the next one saying Hopeville. The Calavini and Hopeville is 2 different places, you know.
Of course, they are.
Yeah, because they say, the woman on the TV say Hopeville. The man with the loudspeaker pass around, he say Calavini. So I know the different Calavini and Hopeville is 2 different places.
Well, maybe
So
maybe it's so big it stretched from Calavini to Hopeville. That would be a hell of a thing.
Yeah, because last night she was on the TV, she said Hopeville. Today the man passed with the loudspeaker, he said Calavini. So I live in Hopeville, I live in Calavini, I know it's 2 different places.
My friend, these are the same people that went to a man's funeral today that when they put out a release for him, they allow artificial intelligence to, they didn't even have enough decency to sit and write a proper release that placed the man in the Senate, a place that he probably passed and watched people inside, but he was never a member of. The man was a member of the lower house of Grenada, the House of Representatives.
Yes, I know Mark Isaac very well. Yes, I know him.
Never in the Senate, but they sent out an official government release that they did not withdraw. That children 5, 10, 15, 100 years from now are going to see and think that Mr. Mark Isaac was a member of the Senate. They don't even have the decency to correct it. So if they don't know the difference between Calvinia and Hopeville,
that is what they don't know the difference.
Don't be too worried about that, because these people and them never used to pay attention to Grenada before. They was too busy jet setting, and I know why they ain't going to Dubai now, but they was too busy minding their own business to bother with what the rest of Grenadians was going through or what we were trying to achieve in this country.
You could pass in Hopeville and go butt up right back at Hopeville and butt up right up by the police station. I don't know, Calvin is way back down, going down to Wester Hall down there. I don't understand them.
Yeah. All right, my dear. Thank you so very much.
Okay, have a good night, eh?
All right, thank you.
Okay, baby.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed, folks. 1473-440-7377. That's the number for you to get on to the inside of tonight's program. Let me see. Papa, yo, look, they said out a release. Well, let me see what the official release say. Let me go over. We go read it together. Yeah, we shall read it together. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs advises the public that the government of the United States has today announced the expansion of the use of visa bonds in the processing of certain visa applications. The ministry confirms that Grenada is among the countries listed in the expanded visa bond program. The measure relates specifically to visitor visas for business and tourism B1 and B2 categories and provides for the possible requirement of a bond ranging from US $5,000 to US $15,000 in individual cases as determined during the visa interview process. The ministry further notes that it has been advised by the United States authorities that the application of any such bond is assessed on a case-by-case basis and is not automatically applied to all applicants. Basically what I was telling you just now. The government of Grenada is actively engaging with its United States counterparts, only engaging now, to ensure that the interests of Grenadian nationals are fully understood and appropriately reflected in the implementation of this measure. Members of the public are encouraged to rely on official information. Well, we show them official information, all your fast, and to ensure full compliance with the conditions of any visa issued. Yeah, so I'll just send out a release to say nothing basically, because we get all our information from the United States themselves already, you know. All the information they put there, we get that from the US already. Yeah? We know that it ranges from US 5,000 to US 15,000. So if they find that you look as a person that will stay in the States, they would say 15,000 for he. They find a suspicious of that one, they might say 5,000 for she. But where will the average Grenadian find this kind of money to pay for this bond? And here's a further question. Had it been a new National Party government, something like this would not have happened. But if indeed it had happened, at least in the case of people who are going for medical care, or in some instances of students and so, you would have looked at the government absorbing the cost of the bond. Yeah, to ensure that that person could go and get the medical care, the government should absorb the cost of the bond. But this government wouldn't do that. They might try and say it now that I say it, but they wouldn't go and do that. Yeah, because they cause it. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs send it out, fire the Minister of Foreign Affairs. He's one of the people that cause it. Take the visa if they want the visa. We supporting. And go and put us in this mess. We have a call on the line. Let's go to the phone line. Hello, good night.
Yeah, good night, Sheldon. How are you doing, man?
I'm quite fine. Go right ahead, caller.
Sheldon, when you look at the record of NDC in governance, Anatolian Thomas, health was a problem. The same thing was happening presently is what happened under NDC under Tillman Thomas. Medication was a problem to get under NDC to stock the health. They have with medication. It always a problem. Look again, Sheldon. Look at the situation again with Ministry of Health again. Medication to put in hospital again is a problem. Look, it's a problem. Look again. What happened when this man was building the? I think it was like anything in the Obey hospital, Mr. Farrister. Income NDC. What happened? They stop him. Look at this scenario again. What happened in St. John? The situation with Mr. Michael Church. They got the money. The money was put aside for the building of that place in Guava. The money they didn't make no use of it the last morning. So when you check the record of NDC in concerning health, NDC treating health of the people as a young child. They see that health is not important to them. But they were saying, when you have healthy people in a nation, it is very important. And it is very important for the nation. But when you have a government like the NDC, they don't care about health. You must have a sick nation. And you will not have a healthy nation, Sheldon. And I say to the people of Carriacou and Peter Martin, it deserves a group of people that know how to solve problems, not a group of people that create problems. From the time NDC came in Sheldon, it's more problem they're creating for the poor people of Carriacou and Peter Martin. Problem in cost of living, problem in healthcare, problem in water, everything going up under NDC. While that cost of living going up, some people work in Sheldon, they can't get paid. Some people working, they get, even if they don't get $800, they get a portion, they get $50 or $60, and they had the bills to pay. Sheldon, NDC need to go. Grenada need a leader with a group of people that is well qualified to run the affairs of Greater Carriacou and Peter Martin. And that could be only fine with that Emily Pay as the leader of NMP, with the team she has behind her. Is well qualified to take Grenada forward and to deliver Grenada the way it was before the last election. NDC need to go. Grenada, you deserve better than that. Come next election, make sure your children, your grandchildren, they reach the age to register, take them time to register to save and to rescue Grenada from this group of politicians we have in governance right now. Sheldon, have a blessed night.
All right, thank you. And folks, as the caller just mentioned registration, just to let you all know that we will be discussing the issue of registration and so on Friday night's program, what is taking place in Carriacou and some other things that I've been digging up. We have a call online. Hello, good night.
Hello, good night, Mr. Scott. How are you?
Avex.
I'm just calling for concerning the visa issue. Mm-hmm. Is that retailed for people who hold in a C1 visa?
No, this is in relation to B1 and B2 visas. And
okay.
It says specifically that's for people who are applying for visas now. They will be asked to pay this bond. So if you already have a visa, you're okay for now. So if you already have whatever other category of visa, or even the B1, B2, you're okay for now. When the problem comes up is if your visa, for instance, is expiring this week, and you have to renew the visa. When you're renewing the visa, you may be required to pay up to that. Well, it's in essence, you're going to be paying nearly up to 40,000 EC dollars. You might be asked to pay to that as a bond. Yeah? So that's the situation we found ourselves in. If you already have a visa, you're okay until it's time to renew the visa, at least for now. Because that was the situation with Antigua. And then after, you know what they did with the Antiguans? They basically canceled the 10 years from all the visa and gave everybody 3. So if you're going at Antigua and you go for a visa now, you can only get 3 months, no more than that. And if you already have a visa that has 10 years or whatever, when you attempt to travel on that, they'll only give you 3 months and they will cancel the 10-year visa.
Oh.
So look out for that as the next stage in this, because we're following in the footsteps. So look out for the next stage.
So if you had visa before, like you had 2 visa before, and you're about to renew your 3rd visa, that require for you too to pay that kind of money.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, and the government, I mean, this is really hard for Grenada now, and I think this government is putting Grenadian in a lot of, I don't want to use the word, but a lot of commerce, I mean, they're letting us down big time. I followed the campaign and the last election, and I find this government, the promises they make to Grenadian people, they disappoint us big time. I'm not a follower of them, but I listen to what, you listen to on both sides. But what they do is that promise and doing now, they really disappoint Grenadian big time. I thought Deacon Mitchell that be a difference when he said so, but he's a failure. He's a big failure. Sorry to say that, but he's a big failure.
Sorry for talking the truth. You're talking truth to Paul. What are you sorry for? You're talking the truth. The man is a failure.
But the seaman thing, I was just checking it out for my brother, because he have to renew his own, and he's over there and he's listening to the news, and he heard it, so he tell me to call.
Well, I'm telling you, if he has to renew, he is falling into the bracket that may have to pay that. Yeah.
Okay, so the seaman too. That's one who work on a cruise ship.
They said B1 and B2. So that's specific to the tourists and the business visas. So they specified B1 and B2. When it comes to those who are working on the cruise ships and so, there was no clarity in anything that I read so far that says that they will be affected in that way. So maybe they might be exempted in this case. Hopefully they are exempted in this case.
I hope so. I hope so.
I'm not Rubio or Trump, so I can't say that they're exempted, but
yes,
maybe they might be.
Yes.
We don't know. So we'd have to. Sometimes the only time you find out is when somebody go.
Yes. Yeah, I pray God that would not be, because he gets worried so fast. Because he called me right away, because he said he listening to this, and a Trinidadian worker,
Good night,
and
Trinidadian.
they're getting worried.
Good night, Grenadian. Don't worry your head. Don't let your blood pressure go up, brother. God above everything else. Yeah, man.
Yeah. So you take care. Have a good night.
All right. Thank you so very much, my dear.
Yeah, bye.
Yeah. I often forget to say good night to those of you on the cruise ships, because listen, sometime 1 and 2 in the morning is when they does message me or call me. Good night to all of you listening on the cruise ships. Good night to Father out there in housing scheme. Father, good night. Yeah, out there in housing scheme. And good night to all of you out there on the cruise ships who are listening to tonight's program. We saw specifically B1, B2 visas. They did not say anything about the C category, the seamen visas, and they didn't say anything about that. So hopefully you all are exempted from this. Yeah, but the other categories, they're in it. Yeah. B1, B2 in it. But ask yourself, Grenada, we had travel advice for 2026 so far. We had travel advisory against us. We had a fish ban. And you had to be careful, because the reinstatement of that is still tenuous, because you promise you're going to do certain things. And if you don't do what you promise you're going to do, we're going right back into the same thing again. It is not you have done so well and you are a marvel of history and even the Roman Empire fell. So you have to understand that if the incompetent people that in office right now continue with the incompetence that caused the fish ban to go in place in the first place by not doing what they were supposed to do, if they don't do what they promised they're going to do now, you're getting back the fish ban again. So all the fellas, and we know all the guys who going out and fish, you are still concerned, because They're still blowing up boats out there. Every now and again you're hearing about one blow up just a couple weeks ago. We ain't any for a few weeks. But them drones still circling, so we seen them. Them drone and them things still circling, so you have to be careful out there. Your government never asked them where you should be and where you shouldn't be and where's the, you understand? So they might find all yourself in an area that they consider a drug trafficking route, and we hope that never happens. Love all of you, some of you are my blood relatives. Love you all, and I hope it never happens. Right? But we just saying, government has a responsibility to help protect you. So in the same way that they're messing up with this TB, tuberculosis issue, it's the same way they messed up with this. You all must take your minds back to when those statements were being made. And I'm sorry I do not immediately have the audio from the political leader of the New National Party when she spoke at that time, and she said to this government, she said, hey, you all have to use a little bit of emotional intelligence and strategic diplomacy. And she hammered home the point that the government needed to use strategic diplomacy, because when these statements are being made, it is not them alone that are going to feel the pressure, but all Grenadians. When they decide that they are going to take a laissez-faire attitude regarding our CBI program, that is all come, all served, and that they are not going to go through the proper filtration mechanisms to ensure that who are getting Grenadian passports are good, fit, and proper people to hold Grenadian passports. When they don't do that, when the Prime Minister could say that he ain't really had time to sit down and go through all them form and them, so they'll just sign everything, just put everything through and sign that, just sign everything. When he could make them kind of statements, you know we headed for trouble. You know that we are headed for trouble. Alright, folks, the phone lines are open. You can call 1473-440-7377. 737. I nearly call out the other number. 1473-440-7377. You can call us on the WhatsApp. You can call us on the WhatsApp. I'm telling you, we have to be so very careful. Because believe me, the US is listening, and I'm trying to find that particular one. The US is listening. The UK is listening. We just saw them slap a whole visa on St. Lucia. Padaw! Visa. You have to come to the UK now. You have to find your couple £100 and you have to go and apply for a visa to get into there. Yeah? So I am just looking for, let me just make sure I get that before I proceed. 1473-440-7377. Let's hear from you all. Yes, indeed, folks. When you take a laissez-faire attitude in relation to ensuring that the people whose citizenship certificates you are signing to become Grenadian citizens and therefore be able to obtain a Grenadian passport, when you take a laissez-faire attitude in relation to that, what you are doing is opening all Grenadians up for the US to say, no, we have to watch Grenadians. Somebody was saying somewhere in the chat there they were traveling on a plane with about 20 Nigerians carrying Grenadian passports? Yeah?
And it simply means that you are free to do other things, right? In the context of when you have to hire a speechwriter and spend hours with a speechwriter, when you can use AI and have multiple versions of a speech churned out.
And you could use AI and then write that people was in the Senate who was not in the Senate. Yeah, we hear you.
To you in seconds. Why would you say I want to go and use a speechwriter? And okay, where is the speechwriter getting the knowledge from? From reading all books and reading other people's literature in the first place. So it's not as if, you know, all
encouraging people not to read and to use AI. Okay, nice, yeah. Go ahead.
language is built on copying. Right? I mean, someone must have invented the word, invented the speech, the grammar, this. So I think a lot of it is nostalgia. Once you have that kind of rapid change, people will think about the good old days. But you can always preserve the good old days. You can still have physical libraries. You can still have those things so that people know what it used to be like. But I don't think, for example, the way music is streamed now, everyone is asking you for a Walkman, you know, or for a CD player, or for, you know, I mean, the truth is, you know, I mean, most of the kids who ask the question will probably have never even heard about the concept of a Walkman, you know, and that was just the other day, right?
That is true.
So it's important for people to understand the rapid pace of change. I don't think the iPhone existed 20 years ago.
Actually, it did. But anyway, not in the form that it is, though. Well, let me just get the proper one here for you all. Yeah, that's not the proper one. I don't know why there's always get the wrong one, you know. Yeah, there's always get the wrong one. So let me just get the proper one for you all here. Because I'm telling you that when you make certain statements, there are consequences.
Sign documents from anywhere. I can sign on my phone, I can sign on my laptop, I don't have to be sitting, I can sign while driving in a vehicle, I can sign while sitting at a restaurant, I can sign while at home, and it's made a tremendous difference, particularly to a lot of the administrative type work that you have to do, signing of documents and so on. So that means I'm a lot more efficient, a lot more responsive, and definitely it means I actually am probably more productive than I would have ever been if we didn't have this technology. Because just imagine you have to sign 150 citizenship certificates. In the absence of this document, I'd have to go sit in the office and go through one by one by one by one. With the devices and with the technology, I can click one button, all 150 certificates are signed at the same time.
Right, so you could click one button and all are signed at the same time. Did you take the time to go through each of them? Because since you don't want to take the time to go through them and sign, since you don't want to take the time to go through that, you're not verifying. You're the final, before you put your signature to it, you should be verifying that these are the correct people. So when the US hears this, when the UK hears this, is all Grenadians going and pay for it? Because a Grenadian passport is a Grenadian passport is a Grenadian passport, regardless of the country of birth of the individual carrying it. At that point in time, on presenting that valid Grenadian passport to an immigration officer, any part of the world, could be in Bhutan, could be in New Zealand, yeah, in Auckland. It could be anywhere in Nepal, or it could be in Dubai. At presenting that passport, the person is identifying themselves as a citizen of the state of Grenada. One are we. And if they do anything out of the way, or they are found to be in anything out of the way, is we getting blame. And that is why the New National Party, on instituting the CBI program, made sure that that security component was so important. But then, hear what people doing here. Yeah, nonsense here.
I'm a lot more efficient, a lot more responsive, and definitely it means I actually am probably more productive than I would have ever been if we didn't have this technology. Because just imagine you have to sign 150 citizenship certificates. In the absence of this document, I'd have to go sit in the office and go through one by one by one by one. With the devices and with the technology, I can click one button, all 150 certificates are signed at the same time. Right? So it makes a huge difference towards productivity, but also quality of life, because it means you can get a lot more time to spend on other things as well, rather than having to sit in the office to pile through lots of papers. So I'm a huge fan of technology. I encourage people to learn about it. I encourage people to adopt it. And I think the more we do so, is the more productive and efficient we become in Grenada. Access to internet means I can work anywhere. I can sign documents from anywhere. I can sign on my phone, I can sign on my laptop, I don't have to be sitting, I can sign while driving in a vehicle, I can sign while sitting at a restaurant, I can sign while at home, and it's made a tremendous difference, particularly to a lot of the administrative type work that you have to do, signing of documents and so on. So that means I'm a lot more efficient, a lot more responsive, and definitely it means I actually am probably more productive than I would have ever been if we didn't have this technology. Because just imagine you have to sign 150 citizenship certificates. In the absence of this document, I'd have to go sit in the office and go through one by one by one by one. With the devices and with the technology, I can click one button, all 150 certificates are signed at the same time. Right? So it makes a huge difference towards productivity, but also quality of life, because it means you can get a lot more time to spend on other things as well.
Yeah, like going to Dubai and them kind of thing. Yeah, that's what they could get a little more time to go place like Dubai and all them kind of thing. We have a caller online. Hello, good night. Hello.
Hello.
Hey, the lioness. Good night to you, the Honorable Dr.
Good
Modest.
night. Good night. Good night.
How are you doing today?
I'm good. I'm good. So many sad, but good overall.
Yeah.
But
It's been a rough
whenever
day.
things happen to our people, it is very sad, especially when it could be avoided or minimized. It is very, very painful. But we're in a difficult time. We are in difficult times between a serious rock and a serious hard place.
Now, you're a former Minister of Foreign Affairs. Is it a situation that the government of Grenada would only know that this happening today, or they may have known for a while now that, hey, this is going to happen?
Is it the
bandits, the visa bond?
The bond.
May they have known that, hey, this is going to be coming. They may have told them quietly on the sideline, hey, we're going to impose this. Or is it that they only find out today?
Well, it depends. It depends. I know there have been times, for example, in the past, when the Right Honorable Keith Claudius Mitchell, as Prime Minister, would have been apprised of certain possible or pending developments that could be avoided if certain things were done, and certain conversations would have been held, and the catastrophes would have been averted. But it doesn't always be so. And so from where I sit now, it is difficult to say that we're sure that the government would have been apprised of the situation before, and they did nothing. But certainly, we cannot say the same for the fish ban. They had ample notice, ample time to do things, to engage the powers that be in the US. They had ample time to have dialogue with the fishermen, the exporters in particular, who had some, what seemed to me to be good ideas, but they were never listened to, never engaged. Just about a week ago, a team organized by the New National Party went to meet with some fishermen, mostly from Guam, and it was lamentable to learn that not a meeting was held with the fishermen to explain what was going on and what could have been done. In certain instances, it's just using a different type of hook. Having dialogue with the importers and the providers on island, and say instead of using a J hook, let's use a circular hook. And if the circular hook that we have on island is big, maybe we could see if we could get a small. There are some basic things. Certain amendments to the legislation that needed to be done. And with serious dialogue, it could have been done. But it was very, very sad to hear the fishermen say that they did not know what the issues were. They were not engaged. They were not spoken to. We have fisheries officers. We have a ministry for fisheries. We have a minister. And we have a government. So because all of those entities I mentioned here have a role at a particular time. And I remember there was a similar situation with our ability to export fish to the EU. And a number of requirements were handed to us. And usually the ministry is informed beforehand. So sorry to have jumped from the bond to the ban.
No, but it's all of that is happening in the
But
same
it's
space.
kind of related.
Yeah.
And you know, and in that case, in the case of the ban, the government knew. As a matter of fact, this thing was happening. It started in our time, just around the COVID. After when we were starting to recover from the COVID, and our government at the time approached the appropriate authorities and said, look, we just, like everybody else, we are just recovering from COVID. Give us an extension, please. And they did. They extended it to 2025, straight into the arms of the NDC. So the point is that you are in office and you have a few years to deal with it. Maybe the first year you just asking yourself how you won the election and lies, you know, and misleading the people. But after that, regardless of what you did to win, you won. And so you have to assume responsibilities and you have to learn. And there are people who, in our case with the European Union, we had to do structural things like rebuild market, restructure markets, because you had to do certain things to ensure that the sanitary standards, that are called HACCP standards, were met. And we did it in time. We saved the day. You know, the 1st of January to now may not be long for those of us who are not fishing. But the 1st of January to now is extremely long for a person, for the families of that person, for the villages that do certain things to make an income from the fishing industry. It is an extremely long time not to be able to go out and fish and sell tuna. And, not even to be engaged, not even to see concern. And as you said, this is not over. This is a reprieve. And I want to send a message to my dear friend, the Minister for Fisheries. Do things differently. Show concern. Do what you have to do. Consult. We don't always know everything, but if you're concerned and you engage, you might learn what to do and then get it right. So I just wanted to mention that. And going back to the bond, 15,000 US is a lot of money for a lot of persons. And I think of students, SGU students, who need to go to the US to do a part of their finishing studies, whatever you want to call it, who not having that 15,000 may not be able to get into the US so that they can complete their medical studies. I think of other students. I know at one time we had quite a few going to the Midwestern University and other universities. People have come to us for assistance to go to different universities in New York and wherever. And they would need a visa to be able to go. And as you mentioned, for health purposes, for a number of other reasons. And to just have this slapped on us, I want to believe that our government was informed, but one cannot say. The only thing is, I'm hoping something can be done, but I won't hold my breath on it. Looking at the rate at which this government does things, I won't hold my breath on that one at all. Somebody asked me a question, Sheldon, on another matter. A couple nights ago, I was talking to some people, and one of them said, "But Doc, how come they publicize? You see all on Facebook, all about Instagram, wherever, about the donation of cricket gears, bat and thing, and the Prime Minister bowling, whether it's wide or not wide, but you saw him doing that. And how come we never heard about that huge boat that came in with the cement, not a photo, nothing on Facebook to say, well, where that came from, where the finances are going, what it would be utilized for, whether it's a private enterprise, whether it's a government enterprise. Up to now, we don't know. But we know that huge boat came, and I thought it was a very interesting question, that the people who love the social media and love to advertise and let everybody know what they're doing. You bring in cement, which is something that is well needed and well used in the country. I don't know if there's a shortage, but it's brought in. And not a drum or sound.
But Doc, we may have to ask the question, well, who is the concrete government now?
Well, that is a good question.
We might have to be asking that question.
And then another question we are all asking is, and I want to commend and congratulate our political leader on how she handled the issue of the Project Polaris, the new hospital. You know, we've heard about it for months, for a long, long time. Different people came and spoke on it and what have you. We in opposition have never been engaged. And we know that is the modus operandi of the government. They don't engage opposition, or they don't engage persons in our country as a whole who may have the expertise to lend to certain things. They do what they want, and then we all feel the negative impact of it. So then I just heard that the opposition got an invitation to go to the sword turning ceremony. I haven't seen an invitation yet. But it begs the question. I think how many acres? It's somewhere around 90.
I'm not even sure on the total amount. I know
it's somewhere around 90. It could be 89, 87, somewhere around there. Acres of land purchased. A project costing millions and millions of dollars to come on. A big hospital, teaching hospital. One where you're going to need more staff, where you're going to need to have specialized equipment if you're going to be teaching people, and all kinds of things have to happen. So how are we going to spend that kind of money on a new hospital, which I don't mind at all? If we get a state of the art, I would love to see that. But, you know, people go to the medical station on Monday, and the pharmacist comes on Friday to give medication because we have a shortage of pharmacists. And that could happen with any government. You have a shortage. I don't know if not enough persons are studying, whatever it is. But to go to see the doctor Monday and till Friday you're getting medication, it come almost like a sin. Because there must have been a reason for that individual going to see the physician, right? And then you short on staff. You short on staff already. You offer them an incentive. The nurses, I think 500, the doctors 1,000, to keep them here and to encourage them, to incentivize them, to put out a little more because you have short staff. You come in the budget presentation as the Minister for Health, Honorable Philip Telesford, and he says, we are going to continue it. Giving a false hope again, just like they did in the campaign. And some of the staff have not gotten that incentive up till now. In January, they didn't get it. When eventually they started to clamor, they got a little change, but they have not given the promised incentive. And I think it is a disgrace because some of those staff really do work hard. They have to do more than their fair share of the work. And therefore, even if we can't keep all of ours, because it happens in a lot of countries, you get the brain drain, people go to greener pastures. But if you're going to give an incentive, then give the incentive and stop continuing to fool the people and to think that this will work. It will not work because it takes a toll on the staff. It takes a toll on the patient, on the families, and everybody else, and the quality of health in our country. We built, the New National Party built a polyclinic in Guave, which is a step up from the health center kind of scenario, where you expect it to have a little bit more equipment, x-ray, more hours of doctors and nurses and that sort of thing. They took away the equipment from that polyclinic, which was supposed to serve the people of St. Patrick, St. Mark, St. John, you know, as a kind of in-between in terms of access.
Yeah.
Instead of going all the way to the general hospital for certain things, which sometimes they have to go there, but at least it's a stopgap to stabilize them, do whatever, ease their pain, stop their bleeding.
And then
sometimes
basic procedures could have been done from that facility
sometimes
as well.
treat them and send them back home. They took it away. So what is it you're doing? You're lessening on the availability of services that people have taken for granted. Because I know as a doctor, when I worked in the health centers, the pharmacist was there the same day to provide medication. So if we have a situation, let's try and fix it. Let's try and encourage, incentivize young people to study pharmacology. Give some pharmacology scholarships to those people, because I know TAMCC offers that service. But even when you do not have to pay the tuition in TAMCC, if you have to pay bus and other fees, sometimes it can be prohibitive for persons of certain income levels. So you're not taking care of this, and you're doing sort turning, and you're building a massive hospital, which is laudable, but not laudable if services, if persons are being deprived of services that they already had access to. Then how are you going to improve on healthcare? Just by saying you're building a massive hospital with all kind of building and hotels and things like that. Then what are we really doing here? Who are we fooling? People are suffering. There is shortage of supplies. Let's fix it. Shortage of staff. Let's fix it. Do what is immediate. This hospital could take any amount of time to build. And as our political leader said, if we are to judge from what happened on the cliff, it could take 100 years. So what happens to our people in the meantime? This is one of the questions I was asked. I mean, I've embellished it a bit, but the essential thing is, if you have to go to every private institution to get a blood test done, to get this done, to get that done, then when you build that, is it going to be a white elephant? Or is money just come from the sky?
Dr. Modest, there's something that you touched on a short while ago that I want to go back a bit to. You spoke about the Guave Polyclinic.
Yes.
And I would like to know, because I used to frequent that end a lot, but I don't these days. What services are presently being offered there? Because I know what the plan was for that facility, and that goes back to prior to 2000 and even prior to 2008. That there was a plan for that facility and so on, including helipad and all that kind of thing for it. And that was left to fall by the wayside by the then NDC government. The NNP came back in, got funding, did the facility. It's complete. The equipment was inside there. So the people are saying, John, when somebody gets sick in the night, had an option instead of having to travel with a serious stomach pain or whatever it is. You have to leave Guave and go down the western main road to get to town. You could have easily gone to the polyclinic, and the same with someone in St. Mark, and even somebody in St. Patrick could have just come down and go there to get at least be stabilized, or you get a good angle on what is happening. What is being offered there now? Is it just
exactly what I can't tell you 100%, but I know that you won't find a doctor there at nights. If there's an occasional doctor presence, it is very occasional. It's not the regular 24 hours, 24/7 that was supposed to happen. Then it was supposed to provide certain services like basic x-rays and so on, so that, as you said, it's a midway point, and to provide services for persons on the western coast. Don't forget the persons down even in St. George Northwest could have come up, depending on where it's easier for them. Because when you want health care, oftentimes you need it immediately. Not every time. Some things can wait, some things cannot wait. But it stripped the center. They took a lot of the equipment, and up to now, I have asked the question several times. I have been given varying answers. One time I heard it was Carriacou. The MP for Carriacou said, no, that's not true. Then I heard it went to Maribor and that sort of thing. So, and there's nothing wrong with moving around things based on certain situations, but it never was explained to us. Nobody understands why a polyclinic like that, with all of this space and facilities, is not being utilized, but is used as at least a regular medical station.
And
so
we have not
moved forward. We have not improved. So we're going to get a big jump, the shock of our life, with a state-of-the-art Project Polaris. But we cannot get the very basic things that were already put in place. How that will work, I don't know. As I said, I would love Grenadians to get the best. Grenadians do deserve the very best. But things have to be practical, things have to be realistic. And they have, 4 years now? They have tried to fool the people. But Grenadians are smart people.
Because
I think it's time.
That facility was supposed to offer, for instance, dental care. You, instead of having to go down to town to do the extraction and your filling and so on, there was actually a dental chair there already. From what I remember, that was supposed to be used for the people of St. John. But they want people in St. John and St. Mark have nice teeth, so they take it out from there.
There was.
I know there was also the facility there for birthing of children. So
yes,
you could.
There was even before, and that was upgraded in this new facility. Yes.
So that people could make their children up there instead of having to try to reach down to town. Because you have this situation now, a lot of people heading down to town, and the children being born in the vehicle on the way down to
on the way.
I mean, you're hearing of those stories nearly every month. You're hearing of the
being
stories
born
of
on
trying to reach down. So that, and this facility, if I remember correctly, was supposed to be the model for what would be done in other areas.
Exactly.
But instead, precisely. Now they just have it as a glorified clinic?
That is what it is. And Sheldon, I know you're a good investigator. And so I would encourage you, let us find out what's happening to the Bellevue Clinic in St. David.
Okay.
Because something is happening there that is not quite right. It doesn't sound right. So before I speak, I always like to know what I am talking about. And there may be the odd time when I err, but usually I come to say something that I know about, that I've checked out, or that I've lived through it. So that one, I'm hearing some stories, and I think we ought to
Bellevue people
see
call
what's
me.
happening there.
Bellevue people call me or message me and let me know.
and I beg for some reprieve for the people of Petit Martinique, for the health center that was damaged and during burial.
Yes.
And a lot of things was made about sod turning, but when you turn the sod, at sometimes you must have the opening ceremony. But you can't have an opening ceremony because nothing much has happened. I saw a video of the sod, and it's a shame. So if we had all of this money coming out from the Crift, then where did it go? What has happened to it? Why hasn't Petit Martinicans gotten a decent facility where they can go to get attended to?
Yes.
These are some of the questions that the Prime Minister has to start answering,
Indeed. Dr. Modest, we are way past our time, but we don't mind. Once we hire you there, we hire you there. So we asking the questions because it's very important for us to know what is taking place and to get an insight. For St. Mark, what has been taking place in St. Mark in the last, let's say the last year? What has it been like in St. Mark for the people of St. Mark?
Well, you know, a disturbing pattern has been set by the NDC that anytime they meet a project happening, anytime they come into office and there's a project going on for St. Mark, they take it away from St. Mark. They take it away. And the only time they may do something is when they really cannot do anything to stop it. So let me just give you a short history. So for example, when we have a daycare center and a resource center in St. Mark, right on the main road, and it's always fully utilized. Sometimes they have to turn away people big, so maybe we need a bigger one. But when we started to build it, maybe about 2006, 2007, somewhere thereabouts, it was the project was going on structurally, was moving forward, and NDC came in office and they stopped that project and did absolutely nothing. A daycare center, and I think everybody listening to you, they know the importance of a daycare center to a community, which especially for women, and they stopped that project and did nothing to it until, well, they did nothing to it. And when we came back in office in 2013, subsequently, the work restarted and that daycare center was built. And upstairs, there's a library and resource center. And there was a young lady there attending to whoever children would come by, wanting to do something there that the library would service, that the library would provide. And, you know, recently I heard that the lady was taken away and sent somewhere else and the library was shut down. You shut down a library in a community instead of upgrading it and building on it and providing educational and other services for children. It has been shut down at this time. Then in recent times, we had a contract before this last election with a certain gentleman to do a study for a jetty at Waltham. Waltham is one of the fastest growing fishing villages. Yeah. And you have a number of young people there who are in the fishing industry. Very remarkable. And he did that study, contract was signed, and phase 1 was ready to go. He was starting to mobilize. Elections came, NDC won. They have halted the project. They've done absolutely nothing. I have written several times through Parliament to ask the Prime Minister, as the Minister for Infrastructure, what is going on. And at the first time, which was in November of 2023, he said that they're reviewing the designs and so on to make sure that everything was okay. And that's his prerogative. That's right. You know, there's nothing wrong with that. Because, you know, I don't think it's fair that a government that comes in just automatically decides to do everything or continue with everything that was started before. They have a right to. But then 2024 came, 2025 came. So I start asking the question, what is happening to this project? And the last answer I got about month and a half, somewhere thereabouts ago, he said he doesn't know about that project. It's a good thing that there's a thing called the Hansard in Parliament that takes all the notes, and they do have recorders in case the recording individual may have missed something. They can go back and play that. After saying that they're reviewing it, no, he knows absolutely nothing about it. That's the other one. We have a lovely resource center at Union built, a playing field. I mean, it is appalling to see the condition of it. There is a minister of religion. He started a program for the children in the community. Wonderful social program, teaching them so many things and so on. And They had allowed her for 6 months, and after 6 months they told her she has to stop. They have taken the key, and so that building is just there and nothing is happening to it. There's a number of things. Victoria Hotel, that was a facility that was purchased by the government of Grenada and for the community of Victoria, because we have resource centers in Union, the one that they closed down. We have in other villages, Nonpareil and others, but Victoria didn't have one. They either had to use the schools or beg for, the use of certain facilities. And so that was bought so that it could be an incubator for ideas. Young people could have an opportunity to train and so on. They came in office and they stopped the project. They paid off the contractor and it stayed there for almost 4 years. Now they are racing against time to fix it, so that they say they're going to accommodate the police and other things. And the police are important in our community. And I don't have a problem with it. I mean, they don't have to get my permission, but I didn't have a problem with it. If they were going to refurbish it nicely and let the police use that facility while they do the police station. So I hope that I can see something happening there. These are just a few, but they are what they have done to St. Mark, and they always talk about a poor community.
Where's the business center that was at the? I think it was at the pavilion. The youth pavilion center that was there.
That youth biz center was the very first one in Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit Martinique to provide opportunities for young people to get into small business. So they were taught things like how to write a proposal, how to manage your financing, your monies and so on, how to do your checks and balances, and all of these things were taught, and it again was supposed to serve the Western Corridor. Persons from St. Patrick, persons from St. John, and persons from St. Mark. When they came without notifying the young people, they just closed it unceremoniously. To date, it remains a white elephant there, not being utilized. And instead of that, they came to St. Mark on Saturday. On Saturday, when they heard that there was a nice function happening at St. Mark Secondary School.
I see some nice ladies there.
Some nice ladies, brilliant ladies, but I tell you. But they came up there to put on a program that says, what? Young youths can cook. Okay? So you close the place where youths could have learned to cook or get an opportunity to set up something where they could sell food and make monies out of it. And then you come, maybe you give them some little money to buy a little pigtail or so to put in some oil down. And you come, youths can cook. You have sent home hundreds of Imani from programs where they were. I'm not saying you have to continue the program, but let the program evolve, develop it into something else so that young people can graduate and get into their own business and so on. Because we do know that government cannot provide jobs for everybody, but government can provide an enabling environment for small business. So they close youth biz, they send home young people, and then you come one day and tell youths can cook. Youths know they could cook. And those who cannot cook, create the opportunity for them to learn to cook. Become chefs, become whatever, waitresses, anything that could give them an honest day's pay for an honest day work. So these are just some of the things that they have robbed us of. When we came back in office, we would have resumed, and now we're waiting on them to start the jetty for the fishermen. We're waiting for them to utilize the Union Resource Center and the playing field, get some people to cut that bush there so that people can use it. And even the Maran Center that we built, as far as I know, I don't, because we were in the point of putting some additional bathrooms and so that it can be used for as a shelter after some natural disaster. So Sheldon, I don't want to bore
And
your
that's
listeners,
just no, but
but
I
these
want
are
people
some
to
of
know.
the things that they do. You're doing things for young people. You're doing things for the community. They stop it. They and even the farm roads. The farm roads, Monsini to Brothers has been stopped. The Red Mud Farm Road has been stopped. And they have no answer for us. They don't know about it.
And you see, I want people to understand that what you're speaking about here, all of the things that you spoke about that was stalled or stopped, that's just St. Mark. We're not speaking
That is
about what's
just St.
taking
Mark.
place in other areas. That's just St. Mark. All of these things that were going on there that have been stopped by the people who claim that nothing take place since the revolution. These
That's
are the
correct.
things that were going on in St. Mark that they stopped just in St. Mark alone. Yeah?
Imagine you close a library.
Mm-hmm.
So,
They like to talk about library.
That's right.
They like to
That's
talk
right. So
about
maybe
it, but
library is not good enough for St. Mark. It's too good. I haven't been able to determine which is which.
Indeed. Dr. Modest, I don't want to take much more of your time because I see you and another lovely lady busy all over St. Mark. Let me say a special good night to Dr. Mayana Charles. And soon the Honorable Dr. Mayana Charles. We know that it's coming. Just do the work. We know it coming. And I see you and that lovely lady going out on a daily basis and so on. So we're just saying a special good night to her. And I know that you must be tired because today was a long one.
And she can provide a wealth. You know, Dr. Mayana Charles is also a public health specialist.
Yes, we have to speak to her very soon.
So she can provide a wealth of knowledge and information. She was in the forefront in COVID, and she did a great job in helping this country and the Ministry of Health to deal with COVID. So I have great expectations, and I look forward to your engagement with her and to learning from her, and maybe she can learn a thing or two from me as well.
Yes,
thank you so much. Maybe some people try to call. I'm sorry, but I don't come often, so I know your listeners will forgive me.
When we have you, the lioness herself. We have to make way. So I think all of the other callers who probably try to call, they are very happy to have given way to you.
Blessed night, Sheldon. Thank you for having me, and good night to all of you.
All right, Dr. Modest, thank you. Yes, indeed, folks, we were speaking to the Honorable Dr. Clarice Modest, the Member of Parliament for St. Mark, former Minister of Tourism. That is the lady that was there when we get the project in Tong. The fourth project that is Dr. Modest that called it. We see other people talking about things. She was the one that organized and get that project. Yeah? For Fort George in Tong there. Yes, that lady that just talked there, she was in charge of dealing with that, right? So you have, she was Minister of Tourism. She was Minister of Foreign Affairs. At a point in time, she was Minister of Works. She has been Minister of Health. I don't think I'm missing any of the ministries that she's held before. Yeah, those are some of the ministries that she's held before. So a wealth of knowledge in relation to different areas. So when we get Dr. Modest, we have to take hold of Dr. Modest. We can't let Dr. Modest go. I just sorry I didn't ask her about that Fort George project. But we're going to get to that one. Yeah, we're going to get to that one as well. All right, folks. So, folks, we are way past our time, but I don't mind once it's with Dr. Modest, and so I don't mind. Yes, I don't mind. And once it's with the people of St. Mark, I do not mind. Yeah? And, folks, as we close off tonight, it's important to understand some of what we just heard about there. To you, the people of St. John, the fishermen, the farmers, the school children, those of you that are working in different industries in the public sector, in the private sector, the bus drivers, the at-home parents, you should not have to worry tonight that if you have a medical emergency, that you have to have the money to pay a taxi or have somebody that will come and pick you up to bring you down to the hospital in time to save your life. It should have been a situation that right there in St. John, and that's why I don't really like the name polyclinic for it, because people treating it like a clinic now, and it's not a clinic, it's actually a mini hospital. that ought to have been offering many different services to you, the people of St. John and St. Mark and St. Patrick, and even for those of you in St. George Northwest who decide you want to go down, you're going up. Or you never know, there may have been a problem with the road, so you can't go down, you have to go up. Remember storm surge, you couldn't go down, you had to go up. And sometimes you couldn't go up, you had to go down. So you don't know what the situation can be. But it should have been a situation that facility, after 4 years, that facility should have been made into what it really should be. It shows the disrespect that they have for the people of the West Coast. The disrespect for the people of St. Patrick East and West, St. Mark, St. John, and St. George Northwest. The disrespect of these people. So that if you have someone in Cloger that has a medical emergency right now, they have to leave Cloger and come down. So they have to get a taxi. If they don't have personal transport, get a taxi to come down. And then head down to the St. George General Hospital, where they could have easily gone to that facility and gotten the treatment, the life-saving treatment in place, or at least to put them at a peace of mind and stabilize them so that they're more safe on the way down to St. George. But instead of that, this government decided to operate spitefully because they don't like all you. And you all should remember, because in 2008, when the NNP left office, there were the plans and everything in place for building that facility the first time. When Mr. Michael Church left the NDC government, they decided to spite not just him, but the people of St. John, the NDC. Spite you, because they wanted to spite Michael Church, they spiked you. And they made sure that not a nail, not a spade of dirt was turned to ensure that that facility was done. It took Mr. Alvin Dabrio and the new National Party coming back into office to make sure that that facility was done. And after it was done, the NNP went out of office, and you see what is being done there. So you all know what you have to do when election time comes. You can't continue with incompetence. You can't continue with the puerile behavior of various individuals who walk in on air because they win an election. At least they think they won the election, but they win an election. You all have to ensure that you all have proper leadership in place. West Coast people, don't make joke with this thing, because right now they're making joke with you all and with your lives. Folks, that's all the time we have for Talking Points tonight. It's been wonderful being here with you, and everything you say and do, do it safe and secure. I'll be back tomorrow night, God's willing, with more Talking Points for you. My name is Sheldon Scott, and I am out of here. And you know that becoming my team song these days. Yes, do enjoy the rest of your night. Yes, we are on tomorrow night with more talk, and Friday night with more Talking Points for you. Tomorrow night we will speak a little bit more about healthcare. Yeah.
There we go. Transformation in we mass. You only looking out for the upper class. Transformation in we mass. You don't care transformation in we mass. Hey. Oh, yo, yo. Ballin', ballin'. Politics, politics. Me closest neighbor stop tell me howdy, all because of politics, politics. Friend and family turn me enemy. I just say yes, I love the progressive sciences hotel making last suggest. But then I remember John Thomas was the one who led the protest. But now we robbing up the same white boys like a bed bug in the night. But just remember the local workers and make sure that you treat them right. Don't leave them balling with them out close. Oh God, baby, Jesus is up the blows. Grenadians balling with them out close. They say when you pour is when you expose. My people balling with them out close. Get them. Oh God, baby, Jesus is up the blows. Grenadians balling with them out close. Be careful with the tons when you're picking rows. Why the hell you remove the cap from the gas? Transformation in we mass. Now what in me tanky can't even last. Transformation in we mass. But you driving wrong in dark tinted glass. Transformation in we mass. When I start to talk you say in a fast. Transformation in we mass. Hey. Politics, politics. You say hush me mouth cause old talk is cheap. I still talking politics, politics. I would never take me death like a sheep. Was up in Granville, Senator came right up to me as like he afraid to talk. He said the little work that he get in Cultural Foundation, they take it back. And how we wish he could have take back his vote. Cause that is one thing he regret. Because apart from all those gallant feds, yes, he they do nothing yet. Canadians balling with them out close. Oh God, baby, Jesus is up the blows. You support us balling with them out close. But the higher the monkey climb is more he expose. My people balling with them out close. Oh God, and this is up the blows. Canadians balling with them out close. What we going through only heaven knows. Why you riding wrong on such a high horse? Transformation in we mass. And the big renters don't care what it costs. Transformation in we mass. If you love this song, well raise up your glass. Transformation in we mass. If you don't like this one, is there you come last. Transformation in we mass.